Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited to be here with you today because I'm here with a great friend and a peer in the industry, Robyn Yates, who is the CEO, broker, owner, founder of Windermere Prestige Properties in beautiful Las Vegas. Welcome, Robyn.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. Well, I want to start out. This is something you don't know. We've known each other for many years. I knew you before you were so impactful in the marketplace, and it was back in about gosh, what was it? I think 1998 or 1999. So I lived in Westridge Village, I think it is. There on Green Valley Parkway in Windmill.
I lived there too.
Oh, well, here's the other part of it. So I'm in the real estate industry as a branch manager, okay? And I had to drive by your signs constantly. I mean, you were just slaying the market. I mean, you owned that Green Valley marketplace, right?
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
strong there.
It was some good years.
Yes. So yes,
And
I.
new too to real estate.
What's that?
It was pretty new to real estate.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I had only been in it about 4 years.
Wow.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a stranglehold there. So, anyways, yes, I knew you before you knew me. How about that? That's impactful. So,
That's
it,
that's cool.
anyways, here we are. So let's start right in. Let's go before. Certainly, we want to talk about real estate, and I think that you and I, in a conversation, will end up talking a little bit about the outdoors weaved in here too, because that's just part of what we do. And I think it's important for leaders to have that as a part of their life, as you well know. So, but let's go before real estate. Tell us about the amazing background that you must have had that turned you into the CEO of real estate.
Well, probably I'll just talk about two recent careers before I went into real estate. I was a general manager for country clubs. So I managed three different country clubs. I started out with a smaller one, moved up, kept getting promoted. So the last club that I managed, I had 240 employees in season because it was in the Coachella Valley, the Palm Springs area. And, it was quite a responsibility because I had 36 holes of golf, I had 20 tennis courts, beautiful spa, an old fashioned hair salon, fitness facility, many, many food and beverage outlets, many, many different businesses really to run. And I just kind of fell into that whole industry. But what was sort of natural for me in that industry was the idea of treating people well and customer service and really making people feel good. And so that's what my leadership did for the people that I managed, which of course was passed on to the people that would join the club. So the other thing that I did is I fell into doing training for a very large training company. Actually, at the time, they were the largest in the world. They're called Achieve Global.
Mm.
And I fell into that, and they hired me to do training for various companies across the United States. And so what they do is they develop all the training, and then you deliver the training.
Okay.
So they'd have salespeople go out and sell the training, and then they'd hire me to go deliver the training. And then real estate.
So talk about the first years and how did you jump in that first year? Did you start in Las Vegas or were you doing real estate over in Palm Springs first?
Well, the interesting thing is that I had always had a desire to do real estate,
Hmm.
to be a real estate agent. And when I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, I took my vacation to get my real estate license because I really wanted it. And I actually got a job offer from a commercial agency. He was actually the trainer, and he wanted to hire me right away. He saw potential. I couldn't take it because at the time we were raising a family. I needed an income, so I didn't take it. Then, when we moved to the Coachella Valley in California, I also took my vacation and got my real estate license there. And again, I didn't sell. I got a job offer from Del Webb, but at the time, my husband at the time, he was doing mortgages.
Oh,
And so he was on commission. We discussed it. We felt like I should keep my job. It's kind of a typical thing that happens to people that
sure.
want to get into real estate.
Yes.
They feel like they need that income. Wanted it so desperately. I was just trying to figure out a way in my life to do that. So when we moved to Las Vegas, I didn't get a job. And I said, this is it. I am going to sell real estate. and I didn't know a soul. I was really scared, but I did it. I got my license, and I just decided I would do what the successful people do. And there's something about fear. When you're afraid, but you want something really bad, it's a type of motivation. So that's how I started.
Sure. Well, and we've talked about this too, is you moved into your heart because it was something obviously, I don't know, you may sit now and get, real nervous about vacations because the vacations you took before put you in this, here I am a cat herder now, right?
Yeah, what will happen next? Yeah.
Right. So how long did you sell? I mean, obviously you had an impact in that marketplace. I knew because here I am, leading a large branch. I think it was at Americana at that point in time on Green Valley Parkway. That
Yeah.
original big building there, and like,
I
gosh, I
remember.
mean, I've got to look at her signs, and they're not our signs. But anyways, how long were you in the sales side of things before you evolved into leadership?
Only about 4 years.
Okay.
And then there was a new broker in town, a new owner. He was bringing in a kind of a luxury brand, which is the area that I wanted to really focus in. And he heard about me. I suppose he asked around, and he contacted me about being a broker. And I couldn't help myself because there's this thing about leading people. Remember, I had left 240 employees,
Sure.
and now I was on my own as one person, and I just couldn't help myself. And I just sort of fell in love with the idea of creating this brand. So I went to work for him, and that was Bob Dyson. And started his office in Green Valley, hired every agent, and brought the brand to Las Vegas.
And,
Yeah.
and so, how long were you there before you made the next move?
Um, I think I was there about three
Okay.
years. And then I went to Kathy Allerton's Summit Group. And it was that year-long experience with Kathy Allerton and the amazing people that were in my group that in that process, that year of really sort of digging deeper and discovering myself, I decided I wanted to do this for myself. I wanted to create my own brand and hire my own agents and really make it a business for myself. So I did. I was scared again.
So now we've got vacations and fear, right?
Yeah,
Those two
right.
things. So you opened your own brokerage firm before you went to Windermere, or
No, yeah, let me be clear. I did research franchises
I see.
and
Okay.
decided, yeah.
Hmm.
So it was Windermere from the very beginning.
Yes. And now you know that that's kind of where my real estate career started in Seattle 27 years ago with Windermere.
No, I
Wasn't that
know. I
crazy?
worked for Windermere. It's so
Yes.
fun.
Yes, yes. So that is what, how many years ago did you take on the Windermere franchise and open your organization? How long's that been?
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years. Talk about the first year. How was that?
Well, like I said, I was scared. And so the first year, what we did is we moved into just a small space that wasn't a permanent space while we negotiated a lease and built out some permanent space. So it was probably the most fun that I've ever had as an owner in real estate because
Yes.
we just had one team room. We had 14 agents to begin with, and the market was really taking off. Remember 2004, 2005? The market was really taking off, and so everybody was selling like crazy.
Everything's wonderful.
So fun, and there was just this team atmosphere. It was really exciting. And then, of course, we opened the first office, and that was a really really nice time for us. The agents came pretty easy, John, at that time because I think part of it was my reputation and I had been a broker, and then also the market was good. So we had a good first couple of years there, and then the market changed.
Well, and here you are because Vegas certainly are, across the country, the market changed, but Vegas was turned upside down. And how did you get through that time?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to.
Hmm.
I wanted to get through it. I wanted to survive and succeed. So with that, then you start getting creative when you have the desire. So we did, unfortunately, we had to take our staff, we had to lay somebody off, we had to, decrease everybody's salaries. We got rid of things we thought we could never live without. But it's interesting how you really can. Things that you think are so important really aren't.
Sure.
So, we just got financially smart. We also went to our agents and said, here's what's happening. We did classes on how to register to be real estate agents for banks, how to do short sales. We hired the short sale company. We got an exclusive. We have a processor we taught people how to go out and work with clients to really help them through that short sale process. And that's what got us through.
So here we are today. When you look at your organization from getting through that time frame, and we've talked about this a little bit, growth over the years, and you've been, every organization is different, but we're the same. And one of the things that, and people talk about culture, and everyone does have a culture. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I call real estate offices tribes, villages, and communities. As you take a look at your culture, talk about how you have, number one, how you've built it, because we had a lot of conversations about that, how you've built it and created it, and for lack of better words, protected it going forward.
Yeah, that's a really, I was just going to say that whether you think you have a culture or not, you do.
Yes.
And it's going to be a reflection of your leadership of who you are and what you've created or haven't created. Mm-hmm. So, in the culture that we created at Windermere, it's really a big part about the agents and what they've created. So for me, it's been setting the standard of what our priorities are as a company. And a big important aspect of our company is collaboration. In other words, we work together, we don't compete with each other. So there's other people have more talents than you do, and you have talents that other people don't do. So that's a big part of our culture. And so the way that we demonstrate that is we put people together. Because as a broker owner and my staff, as they're getting to know people, we figure out what people are good at and what their weaknesses are, and we can help them by putting people together. So collaboration is a big part of our culture, one of the aspects of it.
And then looking at your leadership style through that, would you say that you've been more of a bottom-up type leader or a top-down type leader?
The bottom-up.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think in looking at that too, because you've held your vision, your reputation in the marketplace is just spotless. I mean, your company is recognized as highly professional. With holding to a culture like that, though, everything has its duality. And what do you see in growing your company over time? What are the challenges with that too that you have to face when you say, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we stand for, and we're going to hold to it, and you've done a marvelous job in that. What have the challenges been on the flip side of that?
That's a really great point, because here's one example. We're talking about being collaborative. At the same time, there's something called competition and recognition for who I am and what I'm doing as an agent. That's the duality. So yes, we collaborate, but yes, we recognize you for your success and the things that you're doing as an individual and your success as a business person making sales. That's the duality of trying to manage all of that. That's just one example.
Sure. So when you take a look at, and I know I sold real estate in that marketplace. My brother still does, and I have family down there and all that. But taking a look at the Las Vegas real estate agent, and I get to travel around. I mean, I will say this: it's a different environment down there. And that's the one place where I'll say it's different as I go from city to city. What is, if you were to take a look at and I know you're the furthest from a judgmental human being because we know each other very, very well. and you're very open-minded. But in keeping this culture that you had a picture that you were going to build and have built and maintained, what kind of agent would you say that you're most focused on having be a part of your environment in that Vegas marketplace?
We're really focused on agents who want to build relationships with clients and build their sphere of influence, not less so the transactional agent that just wants one transaction after another and isn't really interested in building relationships. And yes, no judgment against that. There's a lot of success
Sure.
there too, and that's great. In our environment, we're really attracting people who are interested in doing that and learning how to do that.
hmm So looking at that again, that for lack of better words, a quality control of the experience that I know is very important to you. I mean, you have certainly you're in a for-profit business, but I also know the human being that you are in creating this quality experience. How have you done? Because one of the things that I've seen since, gosh, I started tracking the number 1995. I think when I first got into leadership, so 21 years ago. Good grief. Is if I sat down with a broker today and they have 100 agents and they don't recruit anyone throughout the year, they're going to have, and this is an average number I've experienced, they're going to have 70 agents left because of a 30% attrition rate. How have you done, looking at your culture and the build, and the way that you do build and attract agents? Where do you guys fall in those numbers from an annual attrition rate? Are you in that 30% range, higher, lower?
At all. Much lower than that. We're
Yes.
probably closer to 10%, maybe 8%. I haven't
Yes.
actually done the numbers.
hmm
But an interesting thing is that when people choose to leave our company, I always require an interview. And in the interview, I always really try to get to the bottom of what's going on. It's painful, but I want to find out what's going on with the person, because it's not that it's never about us. We do things wrong, of course,
Sure.
but it's really about what's happening with other people.
Mhm.
So if they choose to leave, we give them a hug. If we want them back, welcome them back anytime. And last year, we did bring back 5 agents who had left and they came back. And interestingly enough, 4 of those 5 agents had gone to 100% companies.
Mhm.
And ours is a full service split company. And they came back and they're paying their splits. But they found that they weren't finding what they needed to grow at other companies. It was various companies.
Sure.
And some people go to those companies and they're just fine. It works for them. But it's difficult, I would think, as an owner, if you have 500 agents per broker to really help lead people and help them individually build their business. And so we're able to do that here because we have a strong staff, we have training and mentoring for people that want to grow, that are interested in that one-on-one coaching.
Talk about the training that you do internally there as an organization. Do you handle most of the training? Do you have a specific trainer in there? Do the agents participate? And I think there's probably another, that's a neat thing. We've been in this business for so long. A gentleman that we both respect at a very high level. I've only had the privilege to sit with him for, I think, for 2 or 3 hours training session many years ago, and that's how impactful he is to me. Is Mr. Kendall out there in Colorado?
Yeah.
So talk about your current training program you have, how that works, and I think that they might have had some impact over there too.
Oh,
The ninja
absolutely.
program. So
So I chose to do our interview in my training room.
yes, and I've been there. We've had fun
Yes,
there.
this is where I'm happiest, where I have the most fun, where I feel like I'm making a really big impact
Mm,
on the agents.
yes.
And so, in terms of the training, we encourage people to go to Larry Kendall's Ninja training. And so, Windermere has created a Windermere style ninja training that uses all the tools that we have, as our franchise has. And so, we have that. We offer that here in Las Vegas once a year, and then the agents can travel all over. But that training itself is focused on building your sphere of influence and being
Okay,
effective in all aspects of a real estate system.
I
So
see.
that's the foundation kind of our training. And then I mentioned to you that I had a training background.
Yes.
So I decided that, focusing on what are we good at and where can we make the most impact, both on our own agents and then inviting other people to experience us, other agents.
Mm.
So we created about a year and a half ago, we created a training department.
Oh,
And we went to our agents, to the agents that are really talented in delivering training and really smart, and we created a faculty. And then what we did is we created classes that aren't offered anywhere else. I'll give you three examples. One of the classes is a luxury class. We actually have two of them now, step one and step two. You don't see a CE approved luxury class anywhere else in Las Vegas. So we show people how to build that kind of a business. The other one is just a simple marketing class. Again, it's CE approved with the division. And then the one that's before the real estate division, now you'll be really happy about this, is on video.
I love it. You're the best.
So what we've done is we have the whole green room, or the green screen,
Sure.
everything, and we're going to show people how to do it.
So good. So in these CE courses, then you're able to bring people in from other companies. They come in and can attend those too, correct? Or is that just
Yeah.
for your group?
So we have to, we have to be cautious here because the real estate division doesn't really, allow us to recruit people at those.
Sure.
But they come in and they do experiences, and many
Yes.
times they come back and they ask, to have an interview with us or to talk more with us.
Sure.
And our own agents get this amazing training, some of it from their own peers. Again, collaboration.
Sure. Well, and as you know too, that's not the place to really try and recruit someone. I mean, it
No.
takes away from that great experience. Mike Pruitt, who you met down in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
I was just chatting with him last week, and he has about 50 people a week coming into his office for his weekly training from other companies.
Really?
Yeah, so you
That's
want to
phenomenal.
Yeah, so you want to check back with Mike and see how he's
Wow.
doing too. So,
Amazing. I
yes.
will give
Yes,
him a call.
and he's funny because it's not a CE course. And he says, "Well, John, at the end of I just feel kind of weird not asking him, to join." And I says, "Well, you just don't. You don't go there." He's like, "Okay," and then
Experience.
right, right,
Not
right,
you.
right. So I got a message from last week. Says, "John, 12 people joined last month," and I said, "Okay, good."
Look, it's working. That's what's
Yeah.
supposed to.
Sure, sure. So you have the CE, which I really love about it is you are creating an experience, a few experiences, an experience of what it's like within our environment, an abundant spirit to it, um, and then allowing people to get those CE credits. Now, you brought the faculty together? Do your agents that are most skilled in specific areas, do they come forward with a volunteerism and deliver those classes, some of them for you?
And we pay them because we value their time.
Good.
So we pay them, and they've written classes that we've gotten approved. And so we work together to create these amazing classes. And I think the other thing too about the classes is, we charge for them.
Mhm.
There's a lot of companies in our market, they give away all their CE classes for free. But we charge for them because we're also sending a little bit of a message that we value our time,
Sure.
we value what we're doing, and we think it's worth a few dollars. So we do charge for it as well. Just a
Wow.
little thing there.
So, and social media is so beautiful because there's only so many things that we can chat about in our lives as we move along. Um, let's talk a little bit about relocation. I saw, didn't you guys get an award recently for the work that you guys have done in the relocation space? Talk about that.
So in our world of collaboration at Windermere, we really train our agents to be the source for all real estate for their clients. As part of being the source, what we train our agents to do is to provide introductions for their clients to wherever their real estate is in another market. Whether they're going to buy or sell, we can provide an introduction to a high-level professional in that location.
Mhm.
And so what the award was for the volume of outgoing referrals that our company is sending. Yeah.
Well, and that's, that's mailbox money. I mean, it's pick up the phone. It's not quite that simple because, I know back in, gosh, 95, for a couple of years, I worked with the USA Movers Advantage program.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Uh-huh.
Back before, it evolved, what was it, PHH relocation, and then it continued to evolve, Sendant, and all those things go, and it's not quite that easy, but I mean, once you're in that network, what I know is your relocation director, her job is no joke. When I saw that she received that award, I mean, because the demands on the coordinating and picking the right, I mean, here's what I'd say: it's mailbox money for an agent when they have a brilliant relocation director like you do.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
She is amazing.
Sure.
Yeah, she
Sure.
is. She's incredible. And she and I built that department from absolutely nothing. She'd never done relocation. I had as an agent, that was it. And we decided we wanted to do this, and we started 8 years ago, and it's a big part of our business now.
Wow. That's so great. And you were, so let's go further, because I don't know which, I know you were in Florida, I believe, was when you were recognized for that. And that kind of, moves us into, because one of the things that I know is that you are a seeker, you are a learner and a sharer. So let's talk about some of the different networks that you are a part of, outside of certainly the wonderful brand of Windermere, and the brilliant owners and leaders that you get to interact with. Talk about, because one of the things that I know is you're out there at some of the, certainly their events, but gathering knowledge. Talk about that, and along the way, the people that have really contributed to your career, from a coach, a peer, a mentor, if you would. Because I think it's important for people to see that, if you really want to be an effective leader, I mean, our responsibility, and it's the same, certainly I'm in a different role, it's tenfold of the people we lead. We've got to be in front. So talk about that for us, if you would.
Sure. So I am a seeker, and one of the organizations that we belong to as part of our relocation department is Leading Real Estate Companies of the World.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is Luxury Portfolio. And so they have conferences. They also, in Florida, I was at the Luxury Portfolio Conference, just gathering information about what's happening in the luxury real estate market all over the world, international, by the way, because our market now is so international. We have to understand what people from other countries are looking for and how to assist them in the best way. So that's what I was there for. So I go to that every year. And part of what Leading Real Estate Companies of the World has provided is various mastermind groups, of which I'm a member of one. I'm going to Chicago in September. And so these are owners of various real estate companies, various sizes, all over the world. We come together and we mastermind for a day. And literally, the amazing idea exchange it's mind blowing, John.
Right.
Mind blowing. And literally, I'll sit there and say, "You guys do that?
Yeah.
Wow, I had never thought of that." The ideas that come forth. And then, of course, the things that seem like an obvious idea to me, they've never done. So it's that kind of sharing. And so that's really awesome. But I have to say that one of the things I sought to do was to work with other women CEOs who own their own companies outside of real estate.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, because you get kind of isolated in this real estate world. And I have always felt, it's been my experience, that I can learn things outside of the real estate environment that are good for me to know that can help me in my business here.
So
So I,
brilliant.
yeah, so I joined an organization called the Women's Presidents Organization. And that is owners. We act as each other's board of directors because these are all women in Las Vegas that own their own companies. I think they have to have a minimum of $3 million in revenue. So they're not, you know, I knit clothes and sell them. It's
Sure.
big time powerful women. And that has been the experience of a lifetime because we literally can bring problems to the boardroom table and they see things that, again, they're not obvious to me, maybe about my business. And of course, we all sign a disclosure.
Sure.
But incredible experience and powerful people. And I'm really, really grateful to those women who
I want to highlight that number one, the importance of women in leadership. And I look back. Our mom was, and I speak to Spencer, who our mom was certainly our inspiration in real estate. But I think that the critical thing that I think everyone needs to capture here is we get so siloed in our industry. I do the same thing. I'm spending probably 75 to 80%, maybe even greater, of my guidance or coaching that I'm getting, because I have a responsibility to grow, is outside of our industry. I mean,
yeah.
when you can take a look at Red Bull that spends $1 billion on R&D and marketing that basically tells us how human beings behave,
Yeah.
you might want to just leverage yourself by, the probably $900 million of that ended up on the production floor they didn't use to get to what is going to work. So, how about mentors, coaches, people in the industry that have and continue to today really shape who you are, and I think a lot of it has to do is that voice of reason or sounding board. Who are those
Yeah.
people?
Well, I just want to say that before I was ever in real estate, what really got me into real estate is I was a Tony Robbins fanatic.
Oh,
I listened to every tape and read every book Tony Robbins ever wrote. And I would drive around in my car because I had a job where I had a territory, and so I did a lot of driving. And I listened to everything, and it was really Tony Robbins that his message put a seed in me about how there was so much more that was possible. So he's, without him knowing, as for many, many other people, he's been a mentor to me.
wow.
And another old one is Earl Nightingale.
Oh, yes. Classic.
Classic. And he has a story called Acres of Diamonds.
Yes. It's so good.
Have you heard that one?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Earl Nightingale voice.
I love it. Oh, yes.
I've listened to it hundreds of times.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing message. So those are kind of two different types of mentors just who planted seeds in me, seeds of possibility. And then, of course, years ago, I had a mentor who was in real estate development by the name of Cheryl Kobe. And I met her in Phoenix. And she was one of the only CEOs of a building company. And she was the president and CEO of several building companies, and she was my friend. And I watched everything that she did, including how she acted, how she talked to people. I worked for her at one point. She's an incredible mentor to me. And then Kathy Alderton.
Yeah.
She's been a mentor to many. I know she was a mentor to you. And same thing, she also, with the work through her, planted the seed of possibility and really held me accountable to myself for making sure that I would get out of life whatever it was that I wanted, no excuses. So those are four that come to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good ones. Kathy's special. Have you talked to her recently?
Haven't.
No, I haven't. No, so that just means that one of us needs to reach out to Kathy, right? Sure. So, looking forward, um, over the next year, if you were to say to me, John, this is what we look like 12 months from this moment at Windermere here in Las Vegas, what does your organization look like?
What it looks like is really about the people. And so I don't know what the number's going to be, John. I know it's important to measure things. But for me, it's about attracting like-minded people who want to, be the best that they can be, explore within themselves the things that are holding them back, and find out what it is that really lights their fire to make them want to do what they do, and understand what it is they do well and what they love to do. And so that's really my dream every day when I get up, is to help people explore more about themselves so that they can make things happen in their business and in their life. That to me is the most rewarding part of what I do. And occasionally, I'm sure you experience this all the time, someone will say something to you about, that really stuck with me when you said that. And it caused me to make a change in my life, or caused me to do something differently. Then, okay, yeah,
Right.
I love it.
That's the gift, isn't it? Well, it's I'm in an interesting spot, coaching business leaders, and certainly we're all in a for-profit business, and the numbers are part of this equation. But at the same time, I say this: it's not about how much or how many; it's the right people, and
Yeah,
and, and
man.
just allowing the right people to show up. Let's jump into this fun little space that we have, and especially because you play in it, and now I just love hearing what you're doing with that CE course. Talk about your take on the social media environment and video, and they go so hand in hand. Talk about those two pieces in our industry as a whole, in your industry. I mean, because you've got our business, and being from an agent, and really applying it in their business on a daily basis, and then also in leadership as a leader. Let's chat video and social media.
Yeah. Well, I always tell my agents, always do what's free first.
Yes.
And so let's take a look at social media. Because social media is an opportunity for people to experience who you are, what you're about. And so it's a great way to attract clients and a great way to attract people to you. So I just think it's a tremendous opportunity, and it's fun as long as you're yourself, as long as you be yourself. If you try to put on a mask, then I think it's impossible, and I think people will see through it. So I don't know if I exactly answered your question, but
No, I think
yeah,
I think you nailed it on the social media piece, and it's a constant discovery. That word authentic is so overused, but I think I tell people this: Facebook is the best human behavior laboratory ever created. It is just it's an epic piece to it. How about video? Talk about video for you personally, because you have really applied video, which is it's so great. You're bringing forward training, not only the normal training that agents would need, but at a CE level, in something that's highly impactful, and you've done it. So talk about video, as you've used it and continue to use it in your business, and then how agents are using it, or maybe some of the hurdles you experience with agents using it too. I say this, Rob, this is funny. You're not afraid of video. You're terrified.
yeah. I'm actually not terrified about it myself. I kind of enjoy it. I
You're
really
good.
do. I have
You're
fun with it.
good.
At the same time, I forget to do it. I forget to do it as a video instead of an email, or something like that. So it's like what's that phrase? It's like the new way of doing things. You have to change your mindset instead of typing it. So use the video. And so I think it's incredibly powerful. It's fun. You don't have to type anything. You just say what's in your heart, and it's fantastic. So I really love it, and we have several projects in the works with video that we're doing. We're also working on one of the projects is we have 5 agents that we are experimenting with on video. We're putting together some videos with them in the next 6 weeks.
Oh, good.
We're just kind of pulling them in, saying, what do you want to talk about, and creating professional videos, actually.
Mm.
So the big challenge with agents is they think they have to practice. and they don't know what to talk about. So I always say, talk about what you know. And I hand them the buyer's book that we give a potential buyer that has all this copy in it. And I say, read this, paraphrase it, and talk into the phone. Just do that. It's that simple. So one sales meeting I did just, it was after you had done the presentation, and I had to one of my agents, I said, I'm going to do a video with you. I just want you to talk about the difference between closing an escrow on the East Coast and on the West Coast, because she was from the East Coast. Just like that, she did a fantastic video.
Yes.
But if I would have told her you have a week, I don't know that it ever would have happened.
Sure.
So
When you started really using video and consistently and putting it out there, what was the initial response in the marketplace when you started pushing video out there? Talk about that.
okay, well, the first time I did a video, I just want to say the reason that I did it is one of my young agents came to me and said, I've just been to an NAR conference and they said you need to do video. I said, okay, I'm going to do it.
I love it.
You told me. And that's part of my motto in life is very simple, pay attention. There's data and information all around us all the time. So that's my data, that's my information. Just pay attention, that's all you have to do. You don't have to sit and research, just pay attention. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I just started doing videos about the sales meetings because I wanted to increase the number of people at the sales meetings. So I would do a video myself, I drag some, they all know Fridays I do my video, I would drag somebody in and, you know, just make it fun, natural.
Huh. That's good. It's beautiful. So if you woke up tomorrow and said, this has been wonderful, it's been an amazing ride, but I just want to go back to selling real estate 100%. What would be the three most critical steps that you would take to restart? I mean, from a, this is my sole income, I am a real estate agent 100%, I'm not leading agents anymore, which certainly expands your capacity. What would that look like?
Well, of course, I would approach it like I approach my business, which is through relationships. I would let everybody know. I think that's the most important thing is you have to let people know what you're doing. And it would probably be a pretty big business, and it would probably be focused on higher end real estate.
High end? Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I know. That's you were positioned well because I think you had a sign writer too or something on your sign that mentioned golf courses or something. I have a pretty good memory that way, I think, right? Well, I had to, well, you were everywhere.
Yeah. The reason I did that, John, is because I decided to focus on what I knew and what I had expertise in. Because remember, I had managed golf courses. So I really understood how the golf course was set up and on which holes you would be more likely to get balls in your backyard, what the lifestyle. I just do what you know, what you have information on. So that's why I did it. And so I could really speak intelligently about that lifestyle in that industry. And I could market it, and that's why I did it. Yeah.
So good. Well, I want to end on what I think we both agree is the most important point. You know, we've and thank you for being generous with your time, and I appreciate it. It's always good to connect with you, of course, too. But you know, we do this real estate thing, and I think there's a message here for real estate agents and CEOs like yourself. This real estate thing is just and I use the term that Matthew Ferrara used in a video I think I watched him. It's a representation for something else. You know, what I say to it is you know, real estate isn't, you know, I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not a CEO, it's what I do so that I can do this. And you do a lot of this. Talk about, you know, what you do in your life as a whole that gives you that quiet, that peacefulness, the time away, outside of, you know, this term of grind that we hear, and you know, everything has its duality to it. I understand the intention to it, but talk about how important it is to you to step away and what you do to step away on a personal level.
Well, for me, it's all about the great outdoors, God's country, wherever there's a trail, wherever there is someplace I haven't explored, especially if there's no people. I really like it if there's no one around. That's my favorite thing. And I just lose myself in nature. I just literally lose myself. Between that and I really love animals, particularly elephants. I have an incredible connection with elephants, so I've had an opportunity to ride elephants and spend time with them. But that's what I do. I just completely different from a business life. It's just completely with nature and peace of God.
One more. What you've shared, and we've had conversations about it, and you just keep going through it. What would you, because it's something that we all experience, is fear, and you have stepped through it, and you will again. Otherwise, if we don't, what are we doing here? Um,
Growing.
right. I think that's a real good piece for us to end on right there. What would you say to anyone as they encounter fear in their life? How do you encounter it and get through it?
You have to check in with your heart and see what you really want. And you have to ask yourself, if I don't do this as an example, whatever it is you're afraid of, how will I feel? If I do it and I fail, how will I feel?
Right.
And so my advice is just take a deep breath and do it.
So awesome. So, again, thank you. Where can everyone reach out to you? What's the best place for them to contact you if they want to check in and chat further?
Facebook, that's probably a good place to find me.
It's just everything.
Yeah.
I had a client send a photo from a book and said, Facebook is the new internet. There is no such thing as anything else. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of right. So awesome. Well, Robyn, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, honor you and our friendship, and keep doing great stuff. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, my pleasure. It's really fun. Thanks, John.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.